Although she works for the Galactic Empire, one of Ahsoka's key villains has a similar origin to Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. In the second season of The Mandalorian, the enigmatic Morgan Elsbeth made her appearance. Surprisingly, she showed that she could compete with Ahsoka Tano, the renowned character who defeated Darth Maul during the Siege of Mandalore. With the straightforward explanation that Elsbeth is a Night Sister, a clan of dark side using witches from Dathomir with abilities that are almost as strong as those of the Jedi and Sith, Ahsoka analyzes Elsbeth's past and explains how she could be strong enough to face Tano. The expanded universe, which was formerly the Star Wars franchise's canonical timeline, is where the Witches of Dathomir's long and illustrious history began. The expanded universe was renamed Legends in 2014 and classified as an alternative chronology, yet, the Witches of Dathomir, particularly the fearsome Night Sisters, have made numerous appearances in the new canon. In addition to having fascinating implications for her portrayal of Night Sister lore in the current Star Wars canon, the discovery that Morgan Elsbeth is a Night Sister makes her the first in the canon continuity, and the second live-action Witch of Dathomir. The Night Sisters of Dathomir, Elsbeth's people, were nearly wiped off in the Clone Wars, as mentioned in both The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Star Wars: The Clone Wars depicted the slaughter when Count Dooku commanded General Grievous to wreak retribution on the Night Sisters for their conspiring against him through Asajj Ventress and Mother Talzin. Even though they were vastly superior to the Separatist forces, Grievous and his army of droids eventually overran and massacred the Night Sisters. Only a handful of people survived the carnage, including Talzin, Ventress, Merrin, and Elsbeth. Living Night Sisters became few after the Clone Wars in canon, while the ghosts of the dead Night Sisters still linger on Dathomir. Din Djarin was not born into a Mandalorian clan, as was shown in the Mandalorian's flashback sequences. Djarin was raised in a village planet Akvatina, but during the Super Battle Droids worldwide raids, the Separatists killed all of his family members. Djarin was saved by the extreme Mandalorian faction Death Watch, who adopted him as a foundling. Later, Djarin would act as a mercenary while also joining the Children of the Watch, an organization that some Death Watch members despised. The similarities between Djarin and Elsbeth cease there, despite the fact that both of them were orphaned by Separatists. Djarin had always been noble, even as a mercenary, but Elsbeth would mistreat the Corvians. Din Djarin would perform contractual services for the Empire, but his real loyalty belonged to his Mandalorian clan. Elsbeth, on the other hand, rose to prominence as a protege of the fearsome Grand Admiral Thrawn, ruling over Corvus and exerting influence on worlds like Corellia. Given the subjugation of the Mandalorian people by the Empire, Djarin's lack of devotion to them is comprehensible, although Elsbeth's decision to join them may have been influenced by a number of circumstances. While the Empire persisted in fighting the remaining Separatist holdouts, and the Separatists nearly exterminated the Night Sisters, Elsbeth also utilized Thrawn and the Empire in order to survive. In the year 2021 Star Wars Character Encyclopedia, Updated and Expanded Edition, Elsbeth is described as a human. If so, the Night Sister mythology and canon continuity has been altered since their members were formerly only Dathomirians. Nonetheless, this suggests that they welcomed members of other species. Elsbeth might be a Dathomirian who can pass for a human, shielding her from the Empire's prejudice against non-humans, but other Dathomirians who are unable to do so would not fare as well. This is a much darker scenario. Elsbeth might have even changed her appearance to resemble a human using her Force abilities. The Galactic Empire is not as loyal to Thrawn as Morgan Elsbeth is. Thrawn, a kiss, rose through the ranks of the Imperial Navy despite the human high culture of the Empire. Perhaps this is where he and Elsbeth found common ground. Elsbeth's most recent schemes center on locating Thrawn and bringing him back to the main Star Wars galaxy because the Galactic Empire had already lost the war against the rebellion by the time of Ahsoka's events, further suggesting that she cares more about the Grand Admiral than any surviving members of the Empire.